Krishnavati became the Indrasena Parvat, just not far from Vyomasura's Gufa. Because she wanted that somehow Krishna's chewed remnants touch her person and she would become saved. So after Krishna took all the cowherd boys out of the cave, we told the whole Leela yesterday, then they were very hungry, so they went over to that Indrasena Parvat. It was a nice place to sit, nice trees, and lake was there, Kund. But there was they didn't have any leaf plates with them. But then they saw that the stone itself had made plates and katoras, little bowls. So all the cowherd boys sat down, and Krishna and Balaram sat down, and they began to eat. And therefore Krishna's chewed remnants were touching the body of Krishnavati in the form of that Indrasena Parvat, and she was delivered from this material world. And you can see in the rock, because upstairs there's Balaram's Kheer Katora, his sweet rice bowl. But Balaram, I guess he's a sloppy eater like me, he managed to spill his sweet rice. So on the stones you can see there's a white line that runs through all the stones, all the way down the wall, all the way down into the Kund. And that Kund, the water is never clear, it's always sort of whitish, so it's called Sheer Sagar. And those talis and katoras are still there, for this place is called Bhojan Tali. Bhojan Tali, because the talis and katoras are still there. And previously, the first time I went with Brajmandal Prikama, there was one group, there was a little temple near Madan Mohan called Hari Bol Kutir. And there was one Pitambar Baba. So he would lead that group, and sometimes they would be ahead of us, sometimes they would be behind us, sometimes they would be with us. So they were with us we told about Bimal Kund, they were also staying at Bimal Kund, and they were also doing the same Prikama as us. But since they're a small group, they can move very quickly. They would reach to Bhojan Tali before us. And they would have such an offering, piled up on tops of the talis and katoras, so many sweets, so many dozens and dozens of different types of sweets, big sweets. And they had a beautiful book we'll tell about in a little bit, big thick book like this, the Narottam Das's bhajans. Because most of the bhajans we know of Narottam Das are all manasiksha, training of the mind. But he had Leela Kirtams of Narottam in this book, and he had even Narottam's Bogarti, just like we sing our Bogarti. So they would sing. We'll get that in a minute. So they would do this incredible offering. And then here comes our big ISKCON international Brajmandal Prikama, and what do we offer? Some kitri and some bananas. Now I understand Hindi, I could hear the pujaris sitting there, they're talking. These Bengalis come, Bengali means Kangali, destitute. And they make so huge, enormous offering of sweets. And this big Antarashtriya international group comes, and kitri and bananas. Anyhow, I convinced Lokanath Swami that they have to make nice bhog offerings. It was embarrassing for me. Every time we came, they would be criticizing. Look, these Bengali Kangali, they're making so nice offering, and these big international Prikama comes, and kitri and bananas. So now along with the kitri bananas, there's also big bhog offering, and we sit in the fields there and take prasada. But anyway, I got there one time ahead of our group, because we told about there's the Fistalini Shila, the slides. So everybody takes a long time on the slides, so I ran ahead. I got there, and they were sitting there with their book, and they were singing Narottam Das's Bogarti. So Narottam Das's Bogarti, it talks about how Dao, he comes to this Kund, and the sun is shining very bright. And he thought, it's so hot, let me take bath in the Kund. There's a nice Shir Sagar Kund is there. So, he entered into the water, but sun was very bright. He looked down into the water. He saw there's another boy just like him there in the Kund. And he became so astonished. In fact, he began to stutter. So they sing the song like this. Ki 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 tu 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 po 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 da chai. Ki 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 tu 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 po 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 da chai. Ki 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 tu 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 po 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 da chai. Ki tu po da chai. What is your introduction? Huh? Who are you? He was saying that they sing just like this, so sweet. Ki 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 tu 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 pu 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 da chai. So then Kanaya, he came. He saw Baldao was standing in the middle of the kund talking to himself. He thought it's too hot. Baldao must have gone crazy from the sun. He got sunstroke. So then Krishna made clouds appear. As soon as the clouds appeared, that boy in the kund disappeared. And Kanaya said, "Come on, Baldao, it's time for lunch. Come take your lunch." So Baldao came running out of the kund, and then they all came there to that place. And all the coward boys said that Krishna and Balaram is going to sit next to us. Sudama said, "Krishna and Balaram is going to sit next to me." And Sridama said, "No, Krishna and Balaram is going to sit next to me." And Vasugama said, "No, Krishna and Balaram is going to sit next to me." And Ujjwal Saka said, "No, Krishna and Balaram is going to sit next to me." And Stoka Krishna said, "No, Krishna and Balaram are going to sit next to me." And Madhumangal said, "No, Krishna and Balaram are going to sit next to me." And Ujjwal Saka said, "No." Arjun Saka said, "No, Krishna and Balaram are going to sit next to me." Sangramajan Saka said, "No, Krishna and Balaram are going to sit next to me." Everyone was telling that Krishna and Balaram are going to sit next to me. Somehow they sat down and everybody saw that Krishna and Balaram was sitting next to them and nobody else. They all sat down and everyone saw Krishna and Balaram was sitting next to them and nobody else. And then the Bogarti goes on just like ours, Luchi Chini Sarpuri Laddu Rasabali, like that. It goes on and on and on. So they sing this beautiful song in this place. And Kamyavan is also, Kamya of course means desire, so there all our spiritual desires are fulfilled. This is a very special place. Even today now it's just known as Kama, which means desire. We call it, in Sanskrit we call it Kamyavan. And in that place there's a very special temple of Kameshwar Mahadev. Very, very ancient deity of Kameshwar Mahadev. And now just after we inaugurated the Brindakund temple, because all the pujaris, they were driving down the road and they saw everybody was going to Brindakund, because 2 or 3 days after, just to give rest after we inaugurated the temple, we fed the whole village of Nandagaon. 10,000 people we fed. With pure cow ghee. I think this was the first pure ghee feast in the last 50 years in Nandagaon. It must have been the first pure cow ghee feast since the time of Nanda Baba. And we made pua. I don't know if you know malpua, but we make it different in Braj. We make big like pancakes, like big like this. And that serves as the puri and the sweet all in one. And pua, and this is a favorite of the Brishvasis, pua and sag. If you make a pua and sag feast, then all the Brishvasis will come running.